Woo! Assalamualaikum and good morning, guys. Welcome to our small talk series 3.0. With you today is me, Ms Islah from KinderKaizen Arau, and next to me here would be Ms Feqa from Kinderbebe Arau, and down there is Brother Aiman, Sir Aiman, our leader for Kinderbebe and KinderKaizen Arau here. And surprise, surprise! Is this a surprise again, Doctor? I think it's not a surprise anymore. We have four of us today. Woo! Good morning, everybody. Wow, look at the energy. All right. So before we start today, I would just want to take a moment with everybody who will be watching this later in a recording version or live right now that this is our third series and we are trying to make it more interactive from time to time. So with today's session, we bring about sets of questions, Q&A, and each one of us will tackle it and we'll share our thought process throughout the session. So yeah, and first and foremost, I would like to invite our first our first question today will be asked to one of our panels around here today. I'm just the host. And as the host, I would like to introduce the topic for today is about generasi gadget. Okay. And what we're gonna talk about is more not about like the negative things about it first, but we just want to embrace this generation. And the question will be really just how much is too much because there's no way we can avoid this in this generation altogether. So, right, moving forward to our first question, I would like to invite, wait, yeah, I would like to invite, right, hang in there. I'm checking my list. Checking my list. All right. This will be an open question to all the speakers today, and that will be how has technology impacted your daily life, including mine? So, just an open space. Anybody can take it away.
Cik, termasuk.
Yo, Feqa cakap dulu lah. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, tengah emosi. Okay. Masa baca soalan tu, terus terfikir waktu first time interact dengan internet tau. Memang tak boleh lupa lah. So the first time interact dengan internet was when I was 6 years old. And masa tu very nostalgia lah. Macam mana kita nak pasang internet dulu macam mana kan. Macam kita kena dial dulu kat telefon. And then kena tunggu bunyi. Dia bunyi tu ada yang bunyi krek tu kan. Lepas tu kena tunggu depan komputer. And then kena tunggu dia apa yang gambar message yang masuk daripada yang gambar earth tu masuk kat komputer. And then you have to wait for a moment, for a few minutes, and then baru you boleh guna komputer. So I feel very lucky lah that I have experienced macam mana hidup sebelum internet, and then ada internet, and then sekarang dah makin hebat teknologi kan. So we see macam mana how technology has been involved so much and we benefit a lot from it lah kan. So macam dulu macam information tu limited and you tahu tu je, you boleh tahu tu je, and entertainment pun just very limited. And sekarang you macam it's now dah borderless kan, you boleh tahu semua benda, even like for 12 years old boleh tahu dah pasal investment. Can you imagine macam dulu tak kan? So macam betapa pesatnya teknologi sekarang lah. But tapi for me, I love technology. I love internet, especially like bila kita tengok how we can learn so much lah compared before.
Jauh benar dia punya reflection tu, Feqa.
Tu masuk tu
You reflected the first internet that we had. Alamak, nostalgia betul. Now I feel old. I remember the first computer that I had. Do you remember the beige one? Yang colour beige tu? yang
Gemuk.
besar gila tu. Yang the one where you want to wake it up, you have to literally like ketuk belakang tu. Right? So I remember that one. I remember the first game I played was Capcom X-Men game. Remember the internet. But if you fast
Itu
forward
baru lagi tu,
to
Aiman.
today, oh
Tu
sorry
baru
lah.
lagi tu. Saya lagi tua lagi. Okay,
I know.
sila.
Probably waktu Dr Putri dia pakai the black and green punya typing tu tak? That one kan. You
Kalau
have to
game
put
pun,
in quotes.
game pun very limited, Masya Allah. Okay, sila.
So I remember that, and also when talk about the generation of today dengan teknologi hari ini, well, to be fair, this wouldn't happen kalau tak ada teknologi hari ini. So even though we are going to talk about generasi gadget sebelah ni generasi gadget and the effects they have on them, penting juga untuk kita acknowledge how great the technology has given us throughout the pandemic, before, after, and for me specifically, it has made my career lah, because that's how I started and that's how I continued kan. So this happened also because of gadget juga. So dia ada good and bad. So we're not talking about all bad stuff, even though we are going to veer into that lah slowly. So that's my take on it. The technology, the internet has made me able to feed these two kids. So alhamdulillah for that.
My turn? Okay. Alright, my turn. Saya budak IT. Saya graduate IT. 2002 I graduated. So 1997 IT bermula di Malaysia. Semua orang macam berebut-rebut course IT. Tak minat pun terpaksa ambil. Saya lah antaranya sebab ada scholarship. Okay, and yes, I was attached to this one oil and gas company lah. So selepas belajar kena kerja. Tapi seriously lah, itulah yang Ms Feqa sebut tadi. Internet dia macam tu sambung-sambung tu kan, ya Allah. So hard to get, and masa tu MIRC so famous, chatting platform. It's so hard to get lah, nak masuk, nak dial in, nak duduk dalam which community, kampung lah. Masa kampungku, I can't remember, tapi ada beberapa lah yang people would aim for untuk duduk dalam community internet tu. Nak buat website not easy, still lagi coding, I was doing C++. There's a lot of things lah. Sampai hari ini, we have Canva. So I went through that generation of the changes is real. Daripada asas yang, oh God, I have to do C++ to do website. Sampailah ke hari ini, you ada Canva, you ada all these ready to go apps or website maker tu yang you letak macam you nak. AI pun dah boleh. You just instruct AI, I want this, pop keluar dah. So those generation tu macam wow. And yes, anak-anak hari ini memang duduk dalam dunia itu, jadi they can't run away from it. But how do we do? This is what we're going to talk about today lah. But pengalaman saya sendiri, how does technology changes my life? It helps a lot. However, it makes me somehow seorang yang workaholic jadi lebih workaholic, because I know things can be done so quick and I am a person yang buat kerja sangat laju. But I went to therapist because of certain things I wanted to understand about myself, and this therapist told me, Putri, you gotta stop the way you work, because if you keep on doing work like this, laju, sebab memang laju, internet is there man. I can do Canva, I can do website dalam phone 1 jam dah siap. I can do a lot of things. I can do books, I can do a lot of things. Okay, I can design, saya suka design kan. Okay, so I can do a lot of things cepat. Jadi kalau orang tak boleh kejar my pace tu, saya jadi stress. Imagine those mindset, and then people are moving slow, saya pula nak laju sangat, and then therapist bagi tahu saya tu kalau tidak saya dapat ADHD because I cannot stop up here. The brain has gone like so quick sampai nak tidur malam susah. It keeps on working, and then I start to slow down because I realizes that I'm getting more anxiety. Kalau kerja tak siap jadi nak cepat marah. Kalau ini tak itu, benda tak jalan as per how I wanted it to be, I jadi macam cepat, what's going on, So it's not healthy for me. So my therapist did a good job telling me that, and I work on it, and I slow down, and I think I'm very happy where I am, what I'm doing today. Sebab much better. Boleh control anxiety, boleh control a lot of things, no expectation, tak nak perfectionist, So those are the things lah that impacted me in some ways.
Beautifully shared by everybody. I love the energy. Okay, starting from 6 years old, Vika. And so Aiman wrap it out how that makes his career possible and how Dr.
Islah tak
Putri.
ada apa-apa lagi Islah?
Yep. Oh, mine.
Islah lah juga.
Let's reflect on how I see technology growing up. My mom worked a lot with multimedia interaction design and whatnot, and she always bring us in that process where we have to keep up. Bila Dr. Putri cakap tu, no wonder lah when you dah dalam dunia teknologi, especially when you not only you in the IT world, you have to move along with whatever evolution ataupun changes yang berlaku. Memang banyak, overwhelming. There's tons of ideas, and I can so relate. What I can share, there's good and bad, but the tedious part will be for me personally is how dulu kita banyak cari maklumat secara fizikal, like we go to libraries, kita buka buku dan sebagainya kan, dan proses tu ada give that sentimental values lebih lagi compared to yang sekarang that I'm experiencing in the digital world. So I think nak balance the two tu for me personally, nak sentimental kan digital, ataupun bukanlah kita nak sentimental sangat, tapi to bring myself as who I am digitally sangat limited. So I think I still prefer, personally, I still prefer physical world. Tetapi slowly, especially I think after the evolution from email, Yahoo and chatting ke MySpace and then blogging, lepas tu dah masuk all this YouTube dan semuanya. Instagram is my biggest, Instagram ke? I think Instagram kot yang tukar betul-betul my mindset about how I see technology. Waktu tu kan Instagram semua orang nak tengok apa yang best je. So showing off Instagrammable moments, and how during PKP years kan, with PKP hits, dan I think one of the thing that yang tu bukan Instagram, itu Facebook. Ada satu group ni dia buat satu tajuk group dia, masa apa tak jadi. And waktu tu I see changes in terms of kita boleh post bukan je this Instagrammable, like these achievements. We can post things that can make human more relatable, more vulnerable. And I think that's what I fell in love again, walaupun I dulu macam tak prefer sangat lah. So that's be my take. Thank you for all the sharing. So let's proceed with the second question, and all the listeners here share with us, like how has technology impact your life? And you can share with us and we'll read it here live, and also if you watch this in recording, we will be reviewing soon as well. Okay, so coming back to our second question, I would like to invite our Ms Feqa, walaupun tadi dah volunteer untuk the first question, to answer the second question about do you think there is a balance between technology use and personal interactions? Feqa, take it away. Yang lain pun boleh chip in whenever you want to.
Dalam apa-apa pun kita kena balance lah. I cuma fikir macam okay, kalau pandang gadget je, bukan tu je kena balance. Even bila kita dalam agama pun kita kena sederhana. Bila kita kerja pun ada work life balance kan. Tapi dia macam mana bila dia bukan, kita kena ada tahap kita boleh reflect sesuatu atau notice sesuatu yang how much is too much tu. Dia bukan bila dah nampak effect macam I give too much macam tu. Dia macam apa-apa pun invention, apa yang kita dapat, kita dah kena fikir. Dan benda ni dia bersama, contoh teknologi, it comes with do's and don'ts, advantages and disadvantages. So it depends on how we utilize it. So nak kata balance ni, yes, kena ada balance between gadget usage dengan personal interaction kan. Tapi kalau nak tengok advantages with gadgets ni dengan personal interactions, I think kita boleh relate dengan macam mana kita boleh connect dengan orang yang long distance. Kalau dulu kita tak boleh nak connect sebab limited teknologi kan, tapi sekarang we can do video calls from Malaysia to Finland kan. Macam kita boleh dah ada this teknologi untuk buat macam tu. Dan dia boleh bina bond lah dekat situ. Kan kita boleh kuatkan silaturahim dengan orang. Tapi dia kena, again, Ms Feqa cakap tadi, balance, you have to know how much is too much. Jangan sampai, kalau kita tengok sekarang, jangan sampai your presence boleh digantikan dengan this gadget. Dan disebabkan tu, emotional respond, anak kurang dapat emotional respond because digantikan dengan teknologi ni. So, sepanjang because this emotional response ni penting lah. The kids have to see your facial expression, interaction. Tapi kalau dia dengar this YouTube kan, so dia pun itulah yang dia belajar dan tu cara cakap dia akan macam dalam tu lah. And 3 tahun dah berjumpa macam-macam anak kan. So macam we see this we see this effect bila berikan gadget yang terlebih. Anak tu mulalah delay berlaku dengan tinggi sekali, macam tak tahulah, macam dulu I cuba macam dulu macam mana lah, ada tak masalah macam ni kan. Kenapa sekarang banyak sangat anak-anak delay kan. I think it's because of this lah kan, bila and then also macam kita punya life jugalah berubah kan. Dia bila parents penat bekerja, so you tak boleh nak ada time, so rasa bersalah dengan anak, so you gantikan dengan ni. So there's always have to be, itulah, and pentingnya in order to macam mana nak kurangkan, macam mana nak patah balik. Untuk kurangkan, patah balik tak boleh, tapi macam mana kita nak buat. So you have to be you have to reflect lah. You have to be in the moment too and notice all these things happening. So that's my take on it. Kalau macam parents, Brother Rahman, Dr Putri, macam mana you handle this?
Setuju. Jom kita teruskan. I remember Ms Feqa, you talk about kalau there's a child yang terlebih tengok like stories on the screen ke apa ke, they tend to emulate that, which is normal what a child does. But yang we observe, at least in our centers lah, KinderKaizen Arau and Kinderbebe Arau, is that the way they emulate and apply in real life tu tak nampak real. Right? Macam dia just jadi photostat machine, dia copy paste, but there's no context yang correct and there's no functional usage kepada apa yang dia copy tu. It's just macam like a photostat machine, just copy paste. Where in fact, if children play in the real environment, whatever that they gather in the real environment too, it's functional. So kalau dia copy and what in the real world, it becomes this functional skill that they learn. One example that I can think of is that a child tengok katakanlah cartoon, that's one way, tak ada interaction langsung, and dia just copy how the cartoon says it. In real life, without context tau. Tiba-tiba kita rasa macam, apa dia cakap ni kan? There's nothing meaningful about that particular sayings ataupun expression. Sebab kalau tengok konteks macam tak kena. Kalau tengok keadaan macam tak kena. But dia macam sedang berlakon dalam dunia dia. Contohnya macam a child says, help me mama. I'm like, jap. Apa situation tak kena, but this child is saying something yang dia mungkin dengar somewhere else, so it's not non-functional that way. Now, is that a sign of too much gadget? I don't know, but that is a worrying sign that should be highlighted lah. But and then when you mentioned about parents penat, yes, I mean I testify lah, parents memang one of the thing yang menyebabkan parents actually give gadgets to children is because of penat. I see it all around me, in my family, outside of my family. So we do empathize. No doubt. If you have a big family, lagilah macam tu. Entah setiap seorang anak tu ada gadget dia tersendiri, just for you to have your own peace of mind. So we do empathize with parents because we are parents juga. We feel the penat tu. However, at the same time, as early childhood educators, We see from the children's point of view pula. Bila dia datang ke center, right? Bila dia datang ke Taska and Tadika, we see the effects of it. So nak bagi tahu parents ni, I mean, we have to toe the line a bit. I mean, I understand, madam, sir, that you're tired. You know, you just want to have 5 minutes of break, just your me time. We feel that, but you also have to know this is the effects that it has on your child. So we have to tell them, and to see their face melt, macam, oh, I did this. We feel bad juga, but reality is reality, and that's why it's important for us to talk about it. So thank you, Feqa, for that.
Saya tambah sedikit, boleh Ms Islah, sorry. Since Ms Feqa sebut ni tadi, berbincang tentang technology use, personal interactions, and Saiman mentioned a very important point kat situ. Saya nak kata perbezaan antara dunia realiti dan dunia bukan dunia sebenar tu, itu sebenarnya yang mengganggu proses anak-anak yang sedang dalam membina blueprint otak mereka 6 tahun pertama dan akan mengganggu keseluruhan kehidupan mereka sampai mati nanti. Itu yang kita tak nak. Tetapi permainan ini kita faham kenapa, we're not going to talk about it. Kita lah kena sedar. Topik saya nanti, soalan saya seterusnya nanti saya akan cerita tentang awareness lah. Being aware of it, being aware of it. Tapi nak kata yang continuation of Brother Aiman, Ms Feqa, anak-anak tidak mengenali dunia sebenar itu. Mereka merasakan seolah-olah dunia yang mereka melihat itulah dunia mereka. So kalau hari-harilah YouTube, dunia sebenar mereka adalah YouTube. Jadi jangan terkejut kalau anak tadi tidak ada fokus kepada anda apabila anda memanggil nama mereka. Okay, they will not have that because their establishment of connection is with the TV or the screen or the phone. So kalau dia macam ni, memang rasa bersalah, memang kita rasa guilty, tapi kita acknowledge yang kita semua penat, saya pun penat, kita bekerja non-stop sebagainya kan. Tetapi the balancing part of it tu nak kena aware, balancing apa? Do we have enough balance of interacting with our anak? Itu sebenarnya. Kalau anak-anak saya pun main juga phone, main juga komputer, they are with computers, but I need to be aware of it that I can't, of course we can't run away from it, but the balance of did you speak enough with them? Selagi environment mereka masih lagi engaging seperti manusia, keperluan manusia, insya-Allah tak ada masalah. Berbalik pada Feqa kata tadi, balancing dalam Islam tidak ada kata nak kena ekstrim mana-mana, tak boleh. Islam is all about balance. So itu dulu saya kongsikan. Jadi anak-anak di waktu 6 tahun pertama dia tak tahu nak membezakan the real world and it's not imagination world. It's I can't find the word. I was looking for the word. But it's a world yang bukan reality tu. So mereka ni sekarang terperangkap dalam dunia itu. Nak keluarkan mereka memerlukan terapi khusus, bukan physical therapy, speech therapy, bukan ya. It's not even emotional therapy. This is about mental therapy pula. Brother Aiman, psikologi masuk. Mental therapy pula sebab nak keluarkan mereka daripada trap. They are now trapped in that world yang bukan real. Okay, pas dulu.
Wonderfully wrap, and it started with just wanting to balance like this interaction kan sebenarnya, then how Brother Aiman terus jump into like that specific example, and I've been witnessing example in the center as well. Anak bila ada usage dengan phone lebih daripada sepatutnya, the sign that we can see memang cara bercakap dia berbeza. Memang ayat-ayat yang keluar tu macam repetitive dan macam adalah yang kena pada tempatnya. Ada juga yang macam asal ada that cue dia keluar. Contohnya bunyi ambulance kan, wheels on the bus, terus automatically dia akan kan, instead of really just like macam Dr Putri, thank you for addressing yang membezakan that. I think mungkin are you trying to say about abstract thinking ke arah itu ke bukan?
Abstract thinking kita nampak. I can't remember the word. Nanti kalau jumpa nanti saya bagi tahu. Tapi dia ada specific term.
Yes, because we do have in KinderKaizen, this is a real case di mana anak itu she has this very good imagination, okay? Dan dia dah tercampur juga dengan gadget exposure kan, movie here, cerita kartun here, and then reality a little bit, to a point one day dia tengok dekat luar tingkap KinderKaizen, dia nampak this old uncle tau, and dia terus cakap, ada orang datang nak kidnap saya. you know. And waktu tu I'm like, seriously? I'm like so shocked. And kita pun, lepas tu what I know that is not real is when she said, nanti saya risau dia akan makan kita jadi zombie, and all these things akan, you know. And to a point she was so scared. Literally I can see emotional tremblings di mana dia sangat takut, to a point dia risau what will happen to my mama and mommy and daddy at home, you know. If this zombie gets to them and this happened to us. So all this imagination is actually having this real impact. So bila doktor cakap nak bezakan reality dan imaginasi, or whatever the term is for that, is very important for children. It's real to them. And we can tell. Contohnya sekarang dengan kehadiran virtual reality apa dah, VR5, VR6, kan? Kita nak realitykan virtual world to that point di mana you can just wear something and see. Well, it good experience. I mean, if you cannot go, contohnya yang I think we can really benefited. Contohnya you betul-betul nak masuk under the sea. You can wear this and you can just look around, kan? But there's something about our mental capacity yang berkaitan dengan age developmental yang sangat perlu kita santuni dengan baik lah. Di sini Misa terus nak direct kepada Eman with our next question is talking about when there's excessive usage of technology or screen time in specifically, is there any consequences on the mental health for Eman, especially for adult or for kids? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna funnel down the discussion kepada kids because that's our core demographic and that's our VIP kan. But before that, I just want to mention the case that you cited tu kan, pasal a child in our center yang rasa takut bila nampak ada pakcik kat luar. Dia ingatkan pakcik tu akan kidnap dia. I want to make a distinction that this isn't like playful imagination, because children engage in playful imagination all the time. Like kita main pukul berapa Datuk Harimau kan, harimau makan kita kan. So there's an element of quote-unquote violence there, but children understand it's not real. That's the difference. In play, they know it's not real, it's play pretend. But in the situation yang Islah mentioned, it's not pretending, it's like they believe it's real. Tu yang jadi trembling, takut sampai kan nak pergi tingkap tak nak keluar kat pintu tak nak kan, pasal they believe the pakcik is gonna get them. It's different. It's not playful imagination, it's like, macam mana nak kata, it's reality for them. Right? It's reality for them. It's different. It's not play at all. You can see from the child's eyes kan, this is not playing. So parents yang mendengar ni janganlah fikir macam, oh kalau anak aku main, you know, tembak-tembak kan, ambil kayu, pretend it's like a gun kan. Is it wrong? No, play pretend is okay. Ambil kayu jadi pedang, you know, it's fine. That's normal. We do that too, right? But there's a difference between playful imagination and actually thinking this is real and actually not inflict damage to for real. So that's the distinction lah. And coming back to the question, is there an effect on mental health? Definitely. I want to cite for you from WHO themselves, stated that, well, just for context, this is a new phenomena, gadget ni, comparatively speaking. So studies are ongoing. However, the studies that already ada dan data yang sudah dapat, it's not pleasant to say the least. So some of which datang daripada, this is from Dr Steele, Steele, from Organization of American Optometry, saying that there's a few things that they notice about exposure to gadget yang obsessive. Bukan exposure yang biasa-biasa, excessive exposure. One thing that they notice is that fine motor skills, okay, are greatly affected. So fine motor skills ni, you know, when you want to tweak something with your like tiny fingers, like makan kan, right? Screwdriver, pencil, writing, you know, parents are concerned about anak-anak tak boleh write kan, that's fine motor skill. Well, if you are on your phone all day long macam ni sahaja, and the only fine motor skill is your thumb, right? You don't have that full, you know, physical development, motor, gross and fine too. But in the essence of play, you engage all of that in a whole package. When you climb, right? You pick stuff from the floor, you throw things. So it's all integrated into the element of play. But when you do this, right? your brain memang engaged in the sense that memang neurons are firing kan, you tengok action apa semua tu, but your body isn't. Your body static, right? So fine motor skills, we see that happening, affecting very very much. Seperti mana yang Ms Feqa cakap tadi, vocabulary, communication skills. Like the case of the child yang dia punya communication tu out of context. Sebab dia just dengar dekat YouTube and just apply, but there's no functional knowledge there. As opposed to kalau kita dengar daripada parents, we can interact with the parents and parents boleh correct kita. Salah tu cara guna perkataan tu macam ni. So we see vocabulary affected, we see communication skill affected, eye contact affected. There's a lot of cases where, okay, when I say a lot, I don't want to macam gabrakan parents. There are cases, okay, let's not say a lot. There are cases yang kita jumpa in our own center yang kita tengok anak ni macam autistic, but we don't want to say autism because that's for pakar lah to decide. But there are signs macam nak tengok mata pun susah, nak eye contact pun susah, right? It's like they don't want to engage us in this real world. I don't know, maybe we're too boring ke apa ke, I have no idea. Right, we're not engaging enough in the sense that kalau tengok YouTube ke TikTok kan, dia punya dopamine hit tu laju. There's a reason why short form videos are getting traction now, because it's instant dopamine hit, right? Conversation macam ni is very slow. If you notice, our discussion is slow because that's normal pacing. We build up, we add on sikit. This is normal human conversation. But in the TikTok world, in the short form world, there's no such thing as this plot happening. Dia macam start je video tu, within 3 seconds, they have to hook you with a punchline, with a climax, with whatever the point is, supaya you dapat the dopamine hit within 15 seconds. And when you translate that into real world conversation macam ni, that's the reason why susah nak cakap dengan budak. To have them sit down and have a conversation with you, to engage. Abang buat apa hari ni? Apa yang berlaku hari ni? They can't stay with that. So communication skills are affected. Developmental delays, attention problem, creativity. A lot of toys, this is not a new problem lah. Dulu pun ada juga. A lot of toys are non-imaginative. Meaning dia bagi toy tu, dia bagi tahu exactly macam mana nak main dengan toy tu. Toys yang kita galakkan for kids, especially 6 years below, is toys yang open-ended, blocks, loose parts, dolls, houses. They insert their imagination and figure out nak main macam mana. So if you already tell them what to do exactly, like games for example, mobile games ke apa ke, tutorial dia very specific, that's how you do it. The cheat code very specific, that's how you do it. There's no room for imagination there. And yeah, not mentioning juga lah psychiatric disorders, ADHD and things like that also can be linked. I'm not saying it's caused by. If you study science, you hati-hatilah nak kata causation kan. I'm going to say correlated. Okay, correlated with, yes, some psychiatric disorders, for example, ADHD and so on. So yeah, these are from WHO, and if parents want to know the details ke apa ke, boleh contact kita orang lah. But that's just for discussion, just nak bagi one sweep overview so that people see this gadget thing, excessive exposure of it does have an effect on the tiny brain of a child, especially a child yang dia punya self-regulation pun masih lagi ongoing, masih lagi on the way, building, very, very primitive. So it's tough for them to handle all these things. For adults yang, supposedly the brain punya development dah complete at age 25 and above kan, and also supposedly we should have our own self-regulation done, even we struggle dengan all this kind of gadget and information online. So what does that say to our little kids? If we struggle, what about them? Something to reflect upon and think about the next time we want to give, excessive exposure or free reign exposure. That's more like it lah. Free reign exposure kepada gadget.
Hearing
Okay, we're
all
done. We can end now.
Yeah,
That's I think the best one there is.
Oh wow. Okay, I love the confidence, but I couldn't agree fully. Okay, but just wrapping it up. Thank you, Brother Iman, for really addressing the the issues when it comes to excessive screen time usage. This is just, I mean, when we talk about like daily news, mesti dalam surat khabar tu yang orang nak baca lah, yang full of like paranoia, like this is really bad, parents, but we're not trying to create that anxiousness about that. Oh, now I have to really make sure everything is actually under my control and I know this and that. Not only about controlling just the gadget usage at home and the screen time. It's also about holding ourselves as an adult accountable and our kids in the process. So coming forward, I just want to follow up with the next question, Dr. Putri, about how
Yep.
can we help our children to be more responsible when it comes to, gadget usage,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. Tak sabar nak bercakap Mas Aiman tengah sebut all the points. I'm like, okay. Anyway, because the first 6 years, neurons, berjuta-juta neurons sedang firing up tu kan. Dia sedang membina, sedang making blueprints yang kita nak pakai sampai bila-bila. Okay. Tetapi somehow the processes were being stopped by all this excessive usage ataupun usage yang tanpa dikawal. Soalan yang kata how can we educate younger generation? You nak educate the first 6 years? They do not know. So parents, you take the lead. And why is it that they do not know? It's because the right brain, they are based on right brain. Dia tengah membina. Dia tak ada bridge to go to the left brain. So the bridge is being built and supported and scaffolded. The ayat yang kalau dalam ECE psychology is always scaffolding kan? Scaffolded by adults. And where are these adults? Where are these responsible adults? These responsible adults must have knowledge. Yes, kita rasa kena berhati-hati, kena menyantuni parents, bukan nak menakutkan sesiapa, tetapi we are living in the real world. Are we going to say like 5 years down the road, I'm going to sediakan 10,000 sebab nak hantar anak tu terapi. Sebab apa? Sebab I dah dedahkan dia. Are we ready with that? Because I've been saying this since 2014. Today is 2024. 10 years dah. And I've been saying about pseudo autism dah. Itu pun kena bash. But before WHO keluarkan, I've already connected the dots. Bila brain dah terganggu, sepatutnya dia grow macam pokok rainbow tree for example. Beautiful, banyak dahan. Sepatutnya itulah otak kita. Tetapi otak kita, otak yang krik tepi highway baru ada 3 dahan. Membaca, menulis, mengira. Itu saja yang kita fikirkan. Tapi kita tak fikir emosi dia, macam mana mental, macam mana in which saya nak sentuh jugalah bila saya cakap tadi, kita kena ingat physical development, mental or cognitive development, emotional development, social development. 4 perkara ini perlu dibina seawal 4 tahun pertama. Of course, within the first 6 years. You're talking about fine motor skill. Why? Gadget masalah sangat sebab gadget telah membuatkan kita terpaku kat tempat duduk, sedentary, tak bergerak-gerak. Macam mana sensory development tidak terganggu, especially the first 2 years old. Ya, memang sedih dah. Memang sedih bila pergi mall, pergi tempat makan, non-stop parents giving gadget. Alasan seribu satu alasan. Yes, gadget has become the bibit for the child. Benda ni dah cakap banyak kali. Throughout the years, PKP pun saya warning dah semua. Saya kata get ready lah. PKP ni, awal-awal PKP saya ingat lagi 18 Mac tu. Saya dah kata dah get ready lah. Lepas ni semua akan surfacing. Because of all these trapped emotions, trapped under developmental issues. Dia akan keluar. And today, I am actually very happy that today people lebih celik mata bercakap tentang terapi kan, mental health dan sebagainya. Miasa Malaysia is doing their work and we are continuing this discussion. Of course it's related because you're talking about the brain. So berbalik kepada 4 developmental pertama anak-anak tadi, physical, mental or cognitive, emotion and social. Kalau terganggu, delete lah pelbagai perkara. Benda ni saya cakap secara very surfacing. Of course, everybody please do your homework. Do read up a lot of orang kata neuroscience ke, how brain works. Ini belum lagi saya sentuh from mindfulness perspective. Kita ada head brain, heart brain, hati ni. Kita ada gut brain yang merasa dulu emosi. 3 perkara itu menjadikan kita manusia yang sangat merasai sesuatu. Intuitiveness sangat tinggi. Namun, bila kita masuk satu sistem persekolahan yang hanya menekankan kognitif dan kita tertinggal terus heart brain, gut brain, and then physical development entah ke mana. And with all this gadget, memanglah menjadi satu isu besar. Bayangkan 20 tahun akan datang, apa akan jadi kepada negara Malaysia apabila ramai rakyatnya tangan lembik tak boleh pegang. You know, because all the time macam Aiman kata tadi hanya menggunakan satu jari saja. Ini belum lagi dunia refleksologi yang menceritakan tentang apabila hanya satu jari saja digunakan, you bayangkan the connection of this jari kepada perkembangan otak yang hanya satu bahagian sahaja. Do you know that every bahagian ni ada bahagian tertentu dalam otak? Bahagian kepala, bahagian bahu, bahagian perut, kan refleksologi, urut dan sebagainya. You bayangkan anak tadi tangan dia macam ni je tapi ni je yang bergerak. So yang lain tu underdeveloped. It's not being moved. The sensory is not being stimulated. Ni saya dah cut across a lot of fields ya. Ada science, ada ECE, ada psikologi sedikit di situ. Ada banyak perkara yang you have to read across a lot of different kind of field tu. Jadi berbalik pada soalan, how do you educate younger generation? Be the bridge yang menyambungkan sini emosi kanan. Okay, emotion actually arts lah ya, artistic brain ni yang mana bawah dia adalah emosi. Kan anak-anak ni berdasarkan emosi dahulu sebelum dia boleh logical thinking belah kiri. Be that bridge, build it. Be the person that scaffold the child whenever dia sedih ke, upset ke, can't make things out of it, like they don't understand, you translate it for them, you explain to them, you orang kata apa, you support them in that process. Sorry, kucing saying hi. Okay. Anyway, be the person yang be the bridge, maksudnya you have to be there for your child to learn to say what is good and what is not good. What is right, what is wrong, what is a yes, what is a no. Benda ni yang berlaku sepatutnya seawal 2 tahun dah mahir dah ini. Barulah by the time dia 4 tahun dia dah boleh kata stop, I don't like this. That's wrong behaviour. That is the natural, orang kata bukan natural, semula jadinya itulah dia. Tetapi kita dah terlalu ke laut lah bab-bab ini. Dah campur-campur aduk, problematik dia sangat besar, and I'm not sure how the scenario in Malaysia is able to support this, because back then, I think 5 years ago Sir Aiman, there was only like 500 psychologists in Malaysia. Today of course it has increased, but bila dia increase, problem semakin wow. Nak tackle from the root tu. Macam saya masuk ke arena ECE, saya nak tackle from early childhood. Kalau perasan kenapa saya buat 3 play area tersebut? Why do you have grass area? We have to re-stimulate the tapak kaki. Again, reflexology. To activate the mind back again. Kita tak nak parenting in children. Sebab mereka memang role modeling everything. Sebab kita ada mirror neuron. They will mirror you. They will mirror everything that you do. Okay, sama ada dia simpan tak simpan lah. Okay, and then bercakap tentang sudut autism, saya minta maaf, mungkin very sensitive to everybody, but we have to accept the fact that this is real, it's happening, and we're seeing more and more. Dalam KinderKaizen sendiri ya, you all semua, sebelum Kinderbebe terbentuk ya, daripada KinderKaizen tu setiap tahun increasing number of delayed children. I'm not talking about speech delayed, but we're talking about physical delayed. Ni fine motor skill, gross motor skill pun lembik, berlanggar dengan meja ke kerusi ke bucu ke tak ada rasa. That is a huge issue. Tak rasa, maksudnya sensory dia underdeveloped, dia tak develop properly. Dia boleh kata oops, ow, oh okay, okay, done. I'm like wow, kita yang tengok pun macam wow, that is so scary. Saya tengok depan mata saya, I'm like this is, of course kita panggil parents, kita explain dan sebagainya, but if parents wants to take it up and do something about it, Alhamdulillah. Kalau tidak pun kita tak boleh nak paksa. We just have to menyantunilah, tetapi sayanglah generasi akan datang ini. Saya stop di situ kot. Parents yang sebenarnya responsible, bukan anak-anak ni tak tahu apa-apa. Itu dia.
Wow, banyak tu. Betul lah, macam Dr Putri dah kupas lebih daripada apa yang Sir Aiman, Brother Aiman tengah bincangkan, utarakan tadi, dan kita nampak sedikit like the processes, and I think that's where ECE comes in handy. I think that's where ECE plays a big role in helping you to navigate that. Bila doktor cakap macam nak bridge left and right brain kan. I mean, if I don't know ECE, I'll be like, how do I do this? Like, how what can I do? Not understanding that there's so many signs behind it. There's so many how to yang sangat simple on daily life we can practice. Contohnya sekarang we're talking about how to educate. You know, when we talk about education, banyak orang berfikir, saya bagi tahu dah anak saya. Saya dah set dah masa, saya dah cakap dah. Like all these things, you know. Like I told them not to touch the gadget. I take away their gadgets and whatnot. So kita lebih nak memperhalusi sedikit lah dalam proses education of gadgets, of using this and balancing this. Like we parents, of course, I'm not a parent, I'm just an educator, which I think dalam setting education pun I struggle a lot already to a point. Contohnya dalam KinderKaizen, now that we have our own apps to update stuff kan, kita kena update daily, sometimes weekly about certain things, and we do have to use gadgets in front of the kids kan. Maybe Brother Aiman pun boleh relate, you work with your phone all the time, right? Then I think what really helped me to understand how education in gadgets really can be handy adalah waktu PKP kita, Dr Putri, where you introduce e-touch dalam setting KinderKaizen, di mana we were questioning, can we do online session with kids? You know, kan macam mana, banyaklah kat sini. So in terms of perspective parents, satu, how do we go about this to help children, to educate children about gadgets in a meaningful way, in a way yang mana tidak ada ekstrim, di mana terus snatch away drastic sampai dia rebel dan dia rasa, you know, tak sukalah, benci dengan proses itu, dengan you relax sangat tu point, you biar je lah, free range, badai macam kata, biar pergi je. I don't mind. I percaya anak saya boleh guna gadget and see my kids can speak English so well, semua ni kan. So there are people are actually adalah dia punya side dekat extreme yang this end and the other end. And coming back in between that adalah me as an educator comes in the small setting of early childhood education, di mana I can only have a say in that setting. In dalam setting itu, I believe bila children nampak, contoh my first second years kat KinderKaizen, memang I fully like wear this play leader hat kan. So I always bring my board, pen and paper. Di mana saja pergi. So they always look me with this paper. Then dia orang try to imitate that. And that changes after PKP, di mana semua anak-anak balik rumah dan tengok parents buat kerja kat laptop, gadgets, and parents are just working live kan. And they come to center and their pretend play is actually buat kerja kat laptop. They created laptop from boxes, tablet, phones kan. And drive through, siap ada cashless, ada card, nak pergi bayar kat Miss. We tak make sense guna duit ni. So I'm like, what? So these are all new things like coming in, and kita tidak menghalang proses-proses di mana the modernization taking in. You know, like technology allow this new fasa lah kepada generasi akan datang. So proses ini perlu disambung dengan mendalami sedikit proses how do we really educate. We know the theories that this is all happening, sensory especially sangat resurfacing waktu PKP. We have PKP's babies yang memang ada masalah sensory yang sangat banyak kan. Then we understood dengan 2-3 kali messy play, 2-3 kali allow them to explore freely, the magic happens and they can actually develop again. Right? So the next would be about how to create healthy boundaries in our technology lives ni. So take it away, Dr Putri or Brother Aiman. And Ms Feqa, if you want to menyelit tentang creating healthy boundaries, how do we go about it?
Boleh tak saya sebut sikit tadi, saya tak nak parents overwhelmed jika mendengar apa yang kita kata ini. Jadi simple solution yang boleh saya bagi kalau scaffolding right brain left brain ni adalah komunikasi sebenarnya, bercakap saja. Itu saja, go back to basic. And saya nak tambah sikit lagi sebelum Sir Aiman masuk, saya nak kata begini. Adalah sangat mencabar untuk saya yang membina konten kurikulum untuk mengekalkan tidak terlalu banyak teknologi dalam environment Kinderbebe, KinderKaizen Sri Arya. Saya cuba kalau boleh mengurangkannya kerana di rumah dah terlalu banyak, sebagaimana pun kata Ms Islah kata tadilah, anak-anak bila datang tu dia akan role play apa yang dia lihat di rumah. Macam saya dulu, role play saya adalah pegang file kertas dan saya akan tulis, tapi tulis apa tak cacing je, tak tahu pun tulis lagi bahasa tu. Sebab itu yang saya nampak mak ayah saya buat kerja, pakai kertas, pakai pen. So bila Miss Islah pegang pen dengan kertas tadi, I hope that would give a different perspective to the children to copycat you tu. To go back to the most basic. Okay, so cabaran untuk saya adalah membawa anak-anak ini yang memang berada dalam dunia teknologi untuk kembali ke paling asas seorang manusia. Itulah kandungan asas KinderKaizen, Kinderbebe, Sri Arya School. Saya kalau boleh tak nak ada teknologi tu. Sekarang ni dengan SCGC, phones were taking away. We're controlling every movement, everything that they do via laptop. I have to say this out loud because why? Too much already, too much sampai uncontrolled. Okay, and cakap pasal controlling, saya lepaskan dulu pada Sir Aiman, saya masuk balik. Silakan.
Disclaimer, I don't want to like mengaku yang I have the healthiest boundaries when it comes to this, but just like any other parent, we are trying our best. The first thing is awareness lah. I think one of the things that saya rasa bersyukur lah awal-awal dulu waktu jadi ayah dengan Ryan, waktu Ryan lahir, even before that pun, saya dan wife ada this understanding yang kita ni like dua mak bapak bakal mak ayah yang kita panggil noob. Like we don't know anything. Like we read a couple of stuff but we don't know anything. So atas pengakuan itu, betapa tidak tahunya kami ini, so kami belajar. Memang tak kering lah belajar tu. Sampai ke hari ni still belajar. As the child grows older, your knowledge has to grow juga. Dia tak boleh stagnant dekat tempat yang sama. So that's what we're trying to do. And bila masuk isu gadget ni, mula-mula tak apalah, anak kecil lagi merangkak kan. Ryan waktu kecil dulu, we don't worry about gadget as much because rumah pun tak ada TV. So we have that under control. But once dia dah mula show interest, because naturally, like you said, dia orang memang hidup dalam dunia itu. Dunia yang memang lahir-lahir dia orang nampak ada gadget, dia orang nampak high speed internet in action. So we cannot deny that of them because inilah generasi mereka. So kita bukannya di sini nak kembali kepada zaman dulu. No, there's no kembali ke zaman dulu. Sorry to say. Kan bagus kalau kita zaman Nabi dulu. I'm sorry to say, ini bukan zaman Nabi. We cannot go back. But kita boleh ambil the wisdom of the past to apply today. Right? So even though kita tak boleh nak elak mereka daripada kena gadget ni, at the same time, kita lah yang kena membantu mereka macam mana nak regulate penggunaan gadget tersebut. Okay? So a few like pedoman-pedoman ringkas yang saya mula dengan yang dry dululah. Kalau kita ambil daripada studies that have been done, recommendation pakar, among them adalah ini daripada Mayo Clinic. Kalau anak itu babies, okay, we're talking like 2 years below babies. Across the board, a lot of people say no gadget at all, like below 2 years old. And I remember, I think about 3 weeks ago ada somebody dekat Twitter, seorang ibu yang baru with a very genuine question. Dia kata, TV show apa yang sesuai untuk anak saya umur setahun lebih? And I commented, kindly, I said, kalau boleh puan, jangan bagi langsung. And she was like, oh ya ke? And I showed her a few studies ke apa ke, and she responded in kind lah. So nak kata, we have this idea as parents yang, yes, this is a normal thing, but when do we introduce it? So kalau 2 years below, better not langsung lah. Tapi kalau dah terlepas, dah bagi juga, now you can start to reduce it bit by bit. So one of the boundaries that we have set earlier on adalah timer. Timer is very useful. Useful sangat-sangat. Even dekat center pun kita guna timer. Sampai akan jadi tradisi dah lah to have timers everywhere. So we give the exposure, but then we time it. Okay? Bagi tahu kepada dia the concept of time. 5 minutes, 10. So they learn juga. Ada functional knowledge kat situ. They know time. They know 5 minutes panjang mana, 10 minutes panjang mana. So have the sense of time, of apa? The duration of time. So my eldest, Ryan tu, dia berawal lagi dia tahu dah. Okay, if I say 5 minutes, macam mana guna phone, teknologi juga, to set the timer. Bila phone bunyi, okay dah, time's over. And that's the boundary that we have set until today. Guna timer sahaja. That's number one. To set the duration to. Right now, Ryan umur 9. We experimented for like a few months dengan membagi dia extra 1 hour dengan screen. So dulu sejam, we tried 2. Sebab umur dia dah meningkat, we tried it. And we realised macam we have to go back to 1 balik. He's overstimulated. I'm not talking to all 9-year-old. I'm talking about my son. Okay, so you as a parent, you have to be aware lah. You have to like watch your children and tengok macam tak kena je. So even though like pakar cakap tak apa bagi sejam, tapi kalau for your child sejam is too much, you go down lah 45 minutes ke half an hour. So you have to take the expert advice, but at the same time look at your child juga. Your child is unique, right? So for Ryan, we go back to 1 hour balik. And seems okay lah, seems okay. Macam dah calm down sedikit lah. So tak mengganggu kerja rumah dia, tak mengganggu dia nak main kat luar and so on and so forth. And dia complain banyak boring, which is normal. Kids akan complain banyak boring. But as a father, as a parent, mendengar anak complain boring is actually a win, tahu tak? It's actually a win for me because they have time to be bored now. That's when creativity starts. They have to think. Of course, pada waktu creativity mereka itu memuncak, parents kena tahanlah sedikit sebab benda yang kena kreatif tu kadang-kadang menyakitkan hati. Waktu tu lah dia nak main dengan air lah, nak ambil tepung lah, dia ambil barang bapak dia lah, dia pergi kacau adik dia lah, dia saja je nak create something supaya dia can entertain themselves. But that's the price you pay if you want to reduce the screen time for your kids. The price you pay is you have a creative child, which is not a bad price to pay. You know, you have a child yang very expressive. You have a child yang dia punya emotions itu very like colourful sangat-sangat, not just monotonous sahaja. So that's the price you pay. And if compared to having a child yang quote unquote zombie like, yang macam ni sahaja, and cannot be separated from the screen, then between the two options, I would still pick the first one lah. Like I said, see, anak yang very expressive. So those are the two main things that we practice. It's not like rocket science pun. Set a timer and then set dia punya time tu. And the third thing I would add on is, mengganggu ke? Tak apa kan? Boleh listen ke? Okay. The third thing that I would add is the content. The content. So there's a sad story that I can share. Happened to one of our family members. I'm not going to say who lah, but not in my family. It's an extended family member. So this child, I witnessed daripada dia kecil, umur 5 kot, got a free reign access kepada phone, and she got on YouTube. In the beginning, I remember benda-benda dia tonton tu very innocent, you know, Upi Ipin, very innocent, very fun. And over time, I observe long period of time, pasal dia family member kan, so I can observe this child for long period. The shows start to become weirder and weirder. It started with Upi Ipin, very innocent, and then go with Omahana, very innocent, right? But when you bagi free reign tau, free access, so dia akan pergi ke the next video. So this child started to watch videos yang nampak macam video kanak-kanak, but it's weird. I cannot explain. It's weird. You tengok pun rasa macam creeped out tau. Video apa ni kan? Dengan excessive screaming lah, shock value, and cartoons yang distorted and so on and so forth. It start to become a pattern. Because lama kelamaan, this child wants more of that. Dopamine hit kan? More of that. So Omahana doesn't do it anymore. Upi Ipin is not exciting anymore. You know, you have this other cartoon yang lebih ada shock value, you know. They gets to this person. And over time, that's what becomes the show that they watch. And you can see the behavior change juga at the same time. So this is like in tandem tau. It's interesting to watch. Interesting in the sense bukan saya seronok tengok, but interesting because this is like a real case study that happens in front of you kan. So you watch apa yang berlaku, So for us, what the lesson we take adalah never give YouTube free macam tu, right? Because the next video tu you tak boleh control. Even YouTube Kids pun saya tak bagi. So YouTube is a big no for my kids. Saya bagi hanyalah platform yang I can actually control somewhat dia punya contents, and I actually ask my son to let me know what he's watching, and I watch with him. Be close as possible to him bila dia watch something, so that I can macam tengok dia tengok apa tu. Okay, this show. Okay, I macam kena sentiasa check and recheck balik lah the things that they watch. So three things. Apologies about my son tadi tu, dia lapar, tak apa, Mira ada. The first thing is that timer really helps. Timer. Secondly, duration. You know, like how much is too much by the behavior of your child. Okay. Kalau dia dah start macam you know, kalau you tarik phone tu macam ni, okay, you know there's something macam off lah sedikit kan. Alhamdulillah, my son, even though they love the gadget, and what's not to love, but still, I noticed my son can still turn off by himself. Turn off kat rumah ni tak ada TV, ada projector. They can turn off the projector by themselves. Bila dia kata time's up, close the projector now, dia boleh tutup walaupun takes a few minutes lah. And lastly, about the contents too, as much as possible, try your best to be aware of what they're watching, and be also tech savvy sedikit lah untuk pilih platform yang sesuai, and also untuk nak be close to them as much as possible. Cannot do it all the time, to see and watch with them apa dia orang tengok tu, what are the things that they watch, and tengok, minta respon daripada anak juga. What do you watch? What did you learn? Cerita apa tadi tu? Apa yang best sangat? So that we are always in the loop lah. Sebab all these cartoons, they're always evolving and they have new ones all the time. So that's it about boundaries.
Thank you. If I can continue kan, my youngest now is 9 lah. 9 years old lah kan. 8 going to be 9. Ian Yusof. Yes, he is on computers kan. Okay, so I love the way Brother Aiman, Sir Aiman explained tadi, boundaries is very important, and it comes with this package of parents perlu aware what's going on. Okay, so sorry, time ni cakap lah dia nak cakap hi, dengar Okay, hari tu dia dah kacau, okay, selalu interframe. Okay, anyway, bila parents being aware of what's going on around them, they know bila anak dia dah off too much, behavior change, you know, behavior dah berubah, lepas tu dia punya tantrum extra ataupun a lot of anger in them, because all these gaming for example, it builds anger yang tak lepas, dia tak lepas habis. Dopamine is there, excited dan sebagainya, tetapi geram tak dapat, tak tahu mana nak lepas, so datanglah all this rage. Okay, so I have boys ramai kan, so rage tu we can see. So when rage starts coming in, okay, now what do you want? You want me to put a full stop to your gaming, or you want to be able to handle your behavior or your emotion? Teaching them to regulate tu lah, because yes, again, you can't run away from it. I love playing games as well, tapi games yang saya main ni, kalau perempuan main game, lelaki main game tak sama. Perempuan suka yang short, yang macam jewel whatever lah, bejewel whatever, yang simple tu. Tetapi men dia suka, boys dia suka yang strategy game for example, sebab it's more challenging for them. So I have boys, so I can see bila berubah je, okay, let's talk about it. I don't think this is okay anymore, you know, I don't think this is healthy, I think we have to reduce. So every now and then I checked on them, because I'm not a perfect parent as well. Macam Aiman cakap lah, macam saya Aiman cakap tadi, as a parents pun kita belajar. Anak meningkat dewasa, teenagers pun kita akan belajar benda baru. Kita akan sentiasa kena belajar, dan be ready for when the time comes, what do you do? So being aware of it ni bukan being aware yang macam self-awareness je, tak. Being aware of what's going on around you. Though you are so busy, but you're still aware of perkembangan anak-anak kita ni. Jangan kita terus cut off macam tu, tak tahu apa-apa yang berlaku ni. That is wrong. Okay, so bila you aware, you know where to jump in, where to step in, when to slow down. And saya nak tambah satu point ni, because Saiman dah cerita macam-macam tadi, which is very good dah. Saya tambah saja. Kita nak introduce pada anak dia, saya panggil introduce lah ya, bukan introduce benda baru, tapi nak bagi tahu tu, nak educate them tu. it takes time. It takes time. You tak boleh macam terus grab it and take it away. Tak boleh. You have to warn dulu. You have to let them know dulu. So itu maksud saya dengan introduce to the introduction process, to the educating process tu takes time. Memang kena banyak sabar. So di sabar tu janganlah kita senang masuk ke kancah marah tu. Cepat nak marah anak tu. Chill, relax. Sebab you dah tahu you yang bagi. You nak marah, you marah diri you balik lah sebab you yang bagi kan. But the thing is, you're aware that you yang bagi. So bila you tahu, I'm aware that I gave them. I'm aware that I gave Ian tengok, certain things dan sebagainya. I'm aware that he might, as Aiman cakap lah, dia akan YouTube, dia akan pergi next. And then ternampak benda-benda yang tak apa-apa tu. So macam, Ian, what did you do? So we discuss as a family. Oh no, that's not good. What is it? What did you learn from it? Do you think that's nice? How do you feel here inside your heart? How do you feel here up here? So a lot of reflection process. Sebab anak-anak dah besar lah kan, boleh buat macam tu. Tapi kalau anak yang bawah 9 tahun, 6 tahun ke bawah, reflecting is a bit difficult because they don't understand fully of how this relates to the real world. Tu belum lagi. Kalau dia dah slowly 7 years old ke atas, then we can go deeper in terms of discussion. Jadi menyantuni proses itu memerlukan a lot of kesabaran. So parents kalau dah terlepas dan sebagainya, package yang perlu anda lakukan hari ini adalah sabar, reintroduce, if you have to reverse, you reverse. Tapi again, very slowly, you kena gentle. You tak boleh terus abruptly doing it because it will only rosak, kacau mental health lah sebenarnya. Jadi kena slow and steady, kena banyak bersabar because at the end of the day, kita juga yang membenarkan. Jadi taklah salah anak tu 100%, tidak. Anak-anak memang prone to anything. Jadi kita ni sebenarnya tak perlu terkejut pun kalau anak tu pandai buka YouTube sendiri. Dia baby tapi dia pandai buka YouTube because children, they learn very quick. There's nothing surprising about that. Children, orang kata apa, dapat pick up English, dialect yang macam British dan sebagainya. Nothing surprising. Because brain dia tengah kosong, tengah nak menerima tu. Jadi dia terima pelbagai dialect. Dia terima macam-macam. So itu yang kata the first 6 years boleh pegang sampai 14 languages tu because they're able to. Cuma kita jangan dengan cara paksa, dengan cara willingly, and it has to be meaningful to them. So again, dah terlepas, it's okay. But the package now is that has to come with you. Kita ni adalah a lot of kesabaran. Nak undo balik itu, it takes time. So bersabarlah dalam proses itu. So macam itulah. Itu je kot yang saya nak sampaikan. Drawing boundaries. Sir Aiman dah explain tadi.
All right. Wow. So we can hear. That's why I specifically highlighted healthy boundaries because I think in KinderKaizen we introduce about a lot of boundaries kan. There's physical boundaries, areas, tempat mana nak guna gadget kat rumah, for example. We have that. Kan? We have mental boundaries.
Islah, saya lupa nak cakap ni.
Yeah,
When parents have to use gadgets in front of the child, explain to them. Mommy is doing jual tudung online. I can't run away from not using the phone. You have to say it. I'm sorry, I'm a bit busy. Sekejap je. Tapi you have to tell upfront. So itu maksud saya dengan communication tu lah, building bridges dan sebagainya. You have to say, I'm going to be a bit busy today because I have a session, 1 hour talk online with Sir Aiman, Ms Islah, Ms Feqa. I will be on gadget. So saya sekarang ni after yang therapist kata stop doing too much work, I stop doing laptop work at home. I put boundaries. It's only in the office. The moment balik rumah, kalau perlu buka pun sekejap and only bila perlu saja. So that's a constant reminder for myself. Malam semua I try not to because sebelum tidur nanti otak masih bekerja and susah nak tidur kalau otak still sedang bekerja. So explaining that to anak-anak. Saya teringat lagi masa buat PhD kan, komputer kan all the time. But my time with the computer is always 10 to 12 every day when anak dah tidur at 8. Because I need my me time. So 8 to 10, me time, tengok TV kejap. Masa tu British Got Talent tu sangat wow. Dengan Leona Lewis, tengah famous. Masa tu dekat UK. So I need that me time just for myself to just cool down myself. And then 10 o'clock saya buka laptop. And you bayangkan, my PhD research is a lot of data, numbers. I have to do Excel. So siang, Imran lah banyak melekat dengan saya. Okay, kat situ a little bit of kesilapan saya sedikit lah bila saya terpaksa on the computer doing this data analysis dan sebagainya. Makan dia tu tak terjaga sedikit. So itu yang terganggu sampai hari ini. So makan tak terjaga tu maksud saya adalah saya bagi dia extra sweets tu, yang biscuits, dia suka cereal yang sweet. So dia suka mancing benda-benda macam tu sampai tertidur pun ada. So because I need to do data analysis tak terkawal. Tapi makan nasi semua saya kawal. Cuma bila dah besar dia ada preferences dia. Dia suka ke arah yang macam mana sebagainya. So about disciplining yourself parents, when to use, where to use, explaining it to your children beforehand. That is very important. Sebagaimana kalau saya suka quote benda ni, Jepun nak ajar guna gunting contohnya. 2 minggu pertama dah tunjuk video, dah explain this is how you use the scissors, it's very dangerous, 2 minggu ya, barulah slowly bagi. Macam itulah proses menyantuni itu berlaku. Jadi parents, if you're listening, proses menyantuni tak nak reverse balik penggunaan gadget, macam itulah 2 minggu, 3 minggu, sabar. Don't just abruptly take away from them.
A good reminder, a timely reminder, which I need myself, right? And also, before we wrap it up, everything guys for today, ada banyak unchecked question, but it's okay. I'm loving the session that we're having. It's very relatable to myself, and I hope it's relatable to the listener out there. But we would like to end this with something that take away individually, like what has helped you to be mindful with technology as an educator, as a father, as a mother, and also as adult, literally as an adult, right? So maybe Fika banyak mendengar tadi. How about, yeah? Not trying to pick on you, but if you want to, yeah.
Suka je tu. Tak apa, biasa dah. I think benda yang paling penting is to slow down kot. To slow down, and we have to start first. Kita nak anak slow, take it easy dengan gadget. We have to take it easy on our gadget. So itulah kita dulu.
Alright.
Sorry. Tiba terganggu.
Boleh proceed juga, Dr. Brother Aiman, like what your last say about how to be mindful. How do you tell yourself to be mindful as a parent, as an educator, as a responsible adult around children?
I think for me, I get the reminder from my son directly, because it is undeniable lah. My job memang terikat rapat sangat-sangat dengan gadget use, internet use, computer, phone ke apa semua. This is all work. I don't even play games. I just work je saya dekat benda ni. Maybe I'm a workaholic too, I don't know. But then my son once in a while akan remind lah, kata papa asyik dengan phone je, papa asyik dengan tu, asyik. So that got me that's I need to hear that lah. I mean, I don't want to hear it, but I need to hear it so that I understand that maybe for me it's too much juga, right? Because we can only teach them what we do ourselves. Otherwise it doesn't work. Tak boleh nak kata jangan rokok, jangan langsung jangan rokok. I mean, it doesn't work that way, kan? Because dia jadi macam apa salah you boleh buat, I tak boleh buat pula. So for me, just listening to a child's punya luahan hati tu, because I have a very expressive child, it helps. I have a child yang memang cakap je, so it helps. So for me, it helps to keep me grounded lah, to let me know macam okay, put the phone aside, okay, layan dia sekejap, and so on and so forth too. That really helps. But for others yang maybe do not have a expressive child ke apa, you can see from their behavior juga. You know, a child craves the mother's attention, a child craves the father's attention. You can see from the behavior, even though dia tak cakap, behavior dia can speak for them. You nampak macam dia lain macam saja, kacau adik, try to get your attention, kan? Break things ke apa ke, just so that you can, look at me, father, look at me. So I agree with Fika 100%. Maybe we should just slow down. Bukan nak kata stop working, just slow down. Just go back to time management 101. Block your time properly. Some time for kids and some time for work. because you can't work 24/7, right? Especially when you have a family. So for me, that's my reflective point lah. Once in a while, when Ryan says, "Oh, papa dengan phone saja tu," memanglah kena lah. So you have to start with yourself because you can only change yourself, not others, kan? So that's from me.
Thank you. I like that. Bila Saiman cakap tu terus saya terreflect balik. Kenapa I did crocheting? Kenapa saya design tudung? Kenapa saya buat beberapa perkara tu kan? So part of it is actually betul lah macam Aiman will be very challenging for him because that is your work. Your work is with the screen. So just keep saying to to Ryan dan sebagainya, Ryan, this is my world of working. My world of working requires all this. I'm sure Sir Aiman has already been, saying that, explaining that to anak-anak kan. Because itulah dia, memang itu. And somehow nak balancekan tu tunjuk, okay, engineers kerja macam ni, kalau arkitek kerja dia macam ni, banyak on papers melukis for example, artis kerja macam ni. So pelbagaikan tu membantu anak kita membina perspektif yang macam wow. Sebab bila saya buat kerja, saya ingatlah Farish selalu tegur, Mami ni workaholic Mami ni rajin buat kerja, Mami ni so good lah. Dia nampak Mami macam tu, dia tak nampak daddy dia. Daddy dia banyak working kat dalam ni. So dia nampak daddy dia relax. So anak-anak ni banyak mengcompare dua perkara tu. Jadi itu satu perspektif. Another perspektif bila saya diberitahu I cannot do, yelah I have to slow down lah. Ayat you all pun slow down tu kan. Poster yang saya duk buat tu pun slow down parents kan. We have to slow down. So saya sendiri bila buat crocheting semua tu, in a way bila Aiman cerita tadi macam lah, in a way it's actually showing to anak-anak work is not just on the computer but it can be with your hands, you're making things. So they are seeing me physically doing things. So ada table yang saya letak benang-benang saya dekat ruang TV. Ruang mereka, TV tu bukan tengok TV, kita orang tak ada Unify semua tak, it's just internet je. So kalau nak tengok pun through the web, because kawasan baru sebagai susah, macam saya pun malas lah because we don't watch kan. Buka Unify TV via web is just to watch news. So kita nak tahu what's going on kan. Okay, itu saja. So bila mereka kat dalam ni lepak-lepak kat atas dengan music whatever tu, saya kat tepi tu buatlah jahit-jahit saya tu. So macam for them to see that kita boleh je tak duduk saja tak buat apa-apa. Kita boleh pilih untuk buat sesuatu. But make use of all parts of your body tu. So I guess yalah bila Aiman cakap itu terus saya reflect. I never look at it from that angle tau. So very interestingly, because kita ni role model pada anak-anak, we show it to them. Yep, itu saja daripada saya. Thank you so much. Tapi thank you, Ms Feqa pun point out very straightforward punya message tadi. And yes, very straightforward message. Thank you everybody.
Terbaik lah Feqa, terbaik lah.
So I think that's a wrap. Okay, that's a wrap. And also tadi Dr Putri banyak guna perkataan introduce kan. Introduce. In education there's introduction. And I think what I learned best from Dr Putri, especially Miss Najmi selalu sebut ni, you have to set the tone right. Like the first thing yang you kena ingat adalah to set the tone. And how do you set it right in this process to be mindful is to make sure you are that safe person. That you are safe. You are a trusted person. Your parents can come to you with whatever that they watch on the gadgets or on the internet, comes to you as safely as they can, kan? And datang dekat you and tell everything that they think about it, and you can take that moment instead of being triggered. And I learned this best in KinderKaizen juga, sebab anak-anak can come to you with something memang you tak nak bayar kan, and you be like, kalau zaman I ni, ya Allah, kalau sebut benda ni habislah macam tu lah. But we learned that the first thing that you want to be doing is actually to welcome them, to make them feel welcome in this space, especially in this virtual, digital, global village that we're living in out there. Our children actually kita tak boleh nak physical world pun susah nak keep them safe kan, apatah lagi di dalam dunia maya, and we are wanting them to strive, to flourish, right? Ada soalan sekejap from Fazwan Alif Baharin, will there be pasal control gadget among teens? Ooh, interesting question. Very timely. I can share about my teenager brother, and Dr Putri boleh share experience.
Soalan dia again? Soalan
Um,
Ni
dia.
soalan Sri Arya ni.
Itulah. Control gadget among teenagers.
Islah, you can put it on the screen.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
Oh, okay.
Show.
Well,
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, the pasal control gadget among teens, it goes back to the most basic asas tu, kita set tak the tone. Tu dia, set the tone. Kita set tak the tone pada awal.
Set the tone. Dan juga Dr. betul tak penting, especially
Mhm.
in teenager phase, you become their friend instead of this
Yes.
mother, father, teacher head. You become that
Yes.
friend. Kan? Something that they find exciting. Macam kita tahu benda exciting on phone, you want to share with somebody. And wouldn't it be nice? It would be your mother, father, sisters. You can just go and like, tengok ni, tahu tak? This is so fun. Meme ni lawa lah weh. Macam tu kan? And they can just
Yes.
come to you and dalam proses tu bukan banyak nak menegur dahulu, tetapi nak tengok really like apa yang kita nak sampaikan ialah tengok apa yang anak nampak tu. What dia understanding, apa yang dia tengah absorb, apa yang dia tengah
Yeah.
alami.
So
Kan?
nak bagi nampak ni, kena banyak berbincang. Betul lah tu. Bila you jadi kawan, you boleh sembang. Sembang kedai kopi, sembang teh tarik, you sembang with your anak. Then only you can see that perspektif yang Ms Islah cakap tu. So, yeah. Sorry Islah, saya cut you off. Teruskan.
Oh tak, tu je nak cakapnya. I think I've learned few techniques with my brother untuk, kereta Mrs. Lah bunyi. Kejap I have to go.
Okay. So, saya sambung sikit. With teenagers ni, kalau dia tidak ada set the tone pada awal tu dengan baik, yang jelas, memang they will go beyond things. Macam, they can go extreme lah, dia tak tahu how to control. So, going back to square one, going back to basic. Hi everybody. Dia orang dengar tak? Dengar? Okay. Okay, so going back to paling asas tu, if anak-anak ini jelas, they are disciplined about it. Disiplin ni bukan, dia macam ni tau. Dalam Sri Arya lah, bila kita kata disiplin, kita mesti ingat disiplin yang macam sekolah asrama ke, disiplin macam askar ke. No, not that discipline. Bila kita kata disiplin, it's actually the discipline of your attitude, your character. Kita kan khalifah. How do you control yourself? Itu, disiplin itu yang dimaksudkan. So disiplin in knowing what is good, what is bad. Disiplin in choosing the right word to say, not to curse, not to say whatever yang tak elok. That discipline. Mengawal diri tu bukan disiplin yang macam okay, everybody berdiri tegak, everybody masuk kelas, not that. So dalam Sri Arya, betul kita sedang explore perkara ini, and at the moment we're looking at this attitude and discipline. It's not that discipline yang ni nampak macam mungkin mungkin itu, tetapi tidak. Tetapi anak-anak ini mungkin tak faham. Mereka rasa taken away, mereka rasa marah. Of course, because it's teenagers kan, they are at the rebellious stage. So kita memahami perkara tu, kita menyantuni mereka, explain a bit. But when to explain, find the right moment. Dia taklah masa tu nak cerita semua benda, nak explain masa tu juga, tidaklah. Anak-anak ni pun ada had untuk menerima. So slow down, control gadget, instill that discipline. What kind of discipline is that? That discipline of mengawal diri tu sebenarnya. Sebab kalau diri tak okey, seterusnya macam mana kita nak ada family sendiri, nak mencari pasangan kan? Betul tak? So Aiman, itu pun disiplin sebenarnya. Macam mana kita, diri kita. Itu dia. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you everybody. I think thank you so much for the question as well. So kita memang tak sentuh ke arah teenager because we're focusing 6 years old and below. But I always reflect on myself. Apa yang kita tengok dekat remaja hari ni, young adults today, we reflected kan? Apa yang diorang hadapi sekarang, and we tengok daripada awal lagi. Kan, apa yang kita boleh prepare. Thank you wherever you at. If you have a teenager, you are blessed with dysregulation phase, di mana anak memang pada umur tu memang sebenarnya dalam fasa mencari yang di mana maybe they don't, mostly dia takkan datang daripada parents directly. Mostly akan datang daripada mentor ataupun kawan, or these are this phase yang kita just have to make peace with and understand that you still matter in this process, and to be that safe person that can always come back and refer to you as open as they can. So that my take. So Generasi Gajet, we're with you. We're with you. And how much is too much? I think it will be about, as parents and as educator, myself adalah untuk to build that, help you find your filter in this world of gadgets, and to know when it's too much for you. All right. So that's my take, and that's all from us today. Happy public holiday. It's public holiday here in Perlis, and we're enjoying our time, and we hope you are too at home. So take care, stay safe, much love and praise. Bye. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Ms
Islah, where are you?
Masih live kan? Masih live,
It's still live.
Masih nak stop live, I don't know.
It's alright. No worries. I can handle this. Let
Okay.
me. Yeah, takes a while lah.
Islah
Pasal I
hilang
have
ke?
to
Ya,
I have to log in pula.
Oh,
Sambil-sambil tu sembang lagi.
okay. Ms Feqa, kembangkan lagi. Banyak lagi boleh. You have a lot of
Macam mana,
points
Ms
tadi.
Feqa?
Come. Okay, what do
Ms Feqa,
you
cepat,
see when
cepat.
you hear from us?